Hi.
How are you doing?
Fantastic.
So I was wondering, since you've had Misha, Jensen, and Rich direct you, what were some of the differences between all three of them? And just sort of like different quirks and stuff.
He's right next to me. Yeah, go ahead.
That's a good question.
Pretend I'm not here.
So Jensen, I know the best, I've known the longest, and he and I have such a rapport while acting with each other that I think it was he knows how I work more than anybody, and vice versa. And so he knew exactly what to say to me, when, how. By the time he had directed me, we had acted. When was your first episode? 6? So we had already done 100 hours of television together. Misha,
Let's keep in mind, we kind of direct each other on a daily basis anyway. If I'm in a scene with him and he's doing something, I'm like, you know what? Try that line a different way, or hit this line a little bit more, or this joke, and he'll do the same for me. He'll be like, it was funnier you said it. It's funnier than the first time you said it. Do it that way again. I'll be like, got it, okay. So we're constantly watching each other's back as it is, and it wasn't much different than that for me when I was directing him. Yeah. I was just kind of doing what I normally do.
And all the directing, all the nuts and bolts of directing that he did without me there was without, when he's casting or building the sets or scouting locations or picking which prop to use or which way to shoot it, that didn't involve me anyways. My involvement was kind of between action and cut, and he and I already had that relationship for 5 years strong.
And there's also not a lot of directing he and I from any director that comes on. I mean, they pretty much let us do what we do,
They don't try to fix it if it's not broke,
Right, I mean, they might somebody might throw a suggestion out of like, hey, what if you went over, what if you crossed the room and picked up a prop and did the line over there? Okay, yeah, let me figure out a way to make that work. But mostly they know that when we show up, we're going to have our characters down, our lines down, and pretty much have the idea of what we want to do, and they just kind of let us do our thing. So
and they trust, I think directors talk to other, if you haven't directed Supernatural and you're about to, you'll call somebody who's directed Supernatural. I think the people who direct us understand that Jared and Jensen care about Sam and Dean and Supernatural more than they ever possibly could, and so they know that we're not trying to glorify ourselves or sink a ship. They know we've put in the work that we need to do. We've done our routine the way we need to do it. We're going to show up on time. We're going to hit our marks. We're going to know our lines. We're going to have done whatever we need to do to get ourselves ready to be Sam and Dean Winchester. So they trust us, and that's awesome. With Misha, I spent most of my time trying to figure out how to mess with him. So it was difficult to pay attention to his direction because I was trying to steal his keys, break his director's chair, mess up his script, hit him in the face with a pie and break his nose. It was a lot. So I had an agenda during his episode.
Well, and his directing experience was less directing, more survival. So there wasn't much time for directing.
Yeah.
And he was more worried about whether or not his house was on fire.
And then Spate, I believe the first episode he directed, he wasn't in whatsoever. And so that was a unique experience as well. Well, the Misha episode was also weird because I don't think Jensen and I even had a scene together. Or maybe we had 1 or 2 scenes together. So it wasn't a classic Supernatural episode, which made it different altogether. And then with Spate, he came on as a director, not as a director-actor. So he was more, because Jensen's behind the camera when he came to direct, and then he'd have to come be in the scene with us. And then so Spate was more a classic style director, had done his homework, was committed to it. But the funny thing is that with Spate, when he came to direct, I'd already known him for 10 years or something. And you can hear him from the video village, which is where the directors sit with their headphones on and they're watching the episode. And there'd be a scene, he'd be like, hey, Sam, do that line again. And I'd be like, Sam? Sam? Richard, we've stopped trains together in Europe. Call me Jared. My name is not Sam. And so then he'd walk on set.
He would do that off off stage,
yes.
like, hey, you guys, listen, I just want to talk to you about, so what I'm thinking is for this scene that we're going to shoot in an hour or so, if, you know what, actually, Sam, just run that line real quick.
Sam, Jared.
Yeah, right.
Jared.
You know what I mean.
I've been to Brazil with your family. Like, you don't have to call me by my character name. And so I would start calling him director. I'd be like, hey, director, what do you think about that performance?
Which I think secretly he loves.
He does love it. It was all unique. They were all great. And I'll happily work for them anytime.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Hi.